All right, here we go again. So this is like maybe 20 minutes, 10 minutes after my recap of the Columbus game. So Rangers just lost to the New Jersey Devils by a score of 2-3. Um, yeah, so now the Rangers are 1-5. They've won one game this season, and the Devils are not really a great team. Although it's funny because like they look better than the Rangers and they look like they have a little bit more of a potent offense. Rangers offense sucks right now. It's really sputtering. There's a lot of guys doing a lot of nothing. Chris Kreider is notorious for doing nothing. He's not doing nothing, but he's just not being dominant. And what we need from him is to be a presence at least in every single game. And anyone who paid attention to the Rangers in the playoffs last year saw that he played out of, what did they play, 12 games? So out of 12 games, he played one period. So that's not so good. And that one period was the last period of their final game, Game 6 against Ottawa. Although he did have one sick goal in that Ottawa series. But and that was a different game. But anyway, so VZ has struggled incredibly hard. He's had so many chances. That kid could have probably 5 or 6 goals on the year right now, but he just manages to whiff everything, or just miss completely, or just not realize the puck's like open. So he's struggling a lot, and that's gotta suck for him. Zook only really had, not that Zook's playing bad at all. He's playing great. He's always, literally, Zuccarello is the heart and soul of the Rangers team. If they traded Zuccarello, this team would never be a playoff team ever again, or at least, for a while. Just as Henrik Lundqvist was to the Rangers from like 2006 to 2014, Henrik has kind of fallen a little bit back, and he still is a big reason for the Rangers now. But I would say Zuccarello is just as big of a reason in terms of bringing that spark, that offense, that passion. He will stand up. There's photos of him standing up to Chara and guys like that. He will stand up to anyone, and that's kind of the passion. Like I always say, if you could take Matt Zuccarello's heart and put it in Chris Kreider's body, you would have the best player in the NHL has ever seen. I guess you could theoretically do it, but it doesn't really work that way. Anyway, so Rangers lose this game. Rick Nash gets a pretty sick feed from Darnay. I don't like that line at all. This is kind of the problem with the Rangers, right? They don't have any centers. Stepan's not exactly doing a lot in Arizona, but I think we miss him, and I think we miss Lindbergh as well. The Rangers forwards got pretty gutted last in the offseason, and there was never really any replacements. So, Keto was supposed to get some time. He never did. And so now we're left with, what is it? It's Zibanejad, Darnay, Hayes, and I'm not sure who they had centering. Well, they ran 12 forwards, so I'm not sure who they centered the fourth line with. But Jesper Voss returned from injury, and he played a hell of a game. He was very good. He's a really good, useful player. Pavlich started. Pavlich, I thought, was fine. It wasn't his fault that the Rangers lost. It was the Rangers' lack of effort. And it was, they really controlled the game for their first period. I think they were up like 15-2 in shots on goal. And they didn't score in the first period. So that's generally a sign that you're probably not going to win that game, if you're the Rangers at least. Other teams will continue that pressure into further periods. But for whatever reason, they have a lot of trouble like taking energy and just continuously pushing and pushing and pushing. You saw it and this has been going on for years, because you saw it back in the LA series in the Stanley Cup final, where the Rangers would get those 2-goal early leads, and then instead of putting their foot on the gas and really, crushing their neck, the they just kind of played passive and played defensively. And guess what? When you do that against a good team like the Kings, you lose in double overtime, 4 games in a row. Anyway, so yeah, here we are. Devils scored 3 goals. I think, yeah, they scored 3 unanswered goals. So one was a power play goal for them, and yeah, Rangers' first line got torn apart. McDonough was paired with D'Angelo, and once again, the D pairings are all out of whack. They're crazy. All the forward lines were mixed up again, except for the first line until like the second or third period where they took apart the first line. That's probably the last we'll see of the first line, I'm guessing. The Zibanejad, Kreider, Buchnevich line, the only line that's been a positive on this entire team. Yeah, that's probably, if I had to guess, this is the last time we'll see them. Come Tuesday, I think, is when they play next. I would almost guarantee you that they change those lines up. And they might win that game. But the problems are so much deeper than just like a line change here or a line change there. I just feel like I was looking at the bench when they had just been scored on again. I think it was either the second or third goal. And there's no fire. They don't care. That's what's so aggravating about it. The coaching staff looked like a bunch of statues, and the players were just sitting on the bench. They weren't even really talking. Well, there was some chatting with one another. No one's getting up and smashing their stick against the wall or just yelling at people saying, like, let's fucking go. Let's go, buddy. Like, none of that. There's absolutely none of that, and it's really aggravating, especially because these guys are getting paid millions of dollars. You'd think they'd be able to show up for a game, especially when they're being humiliated. I mean, they are one of the laughingstocks of the NHL right now. The fact that the New York Rangers, who signed Kevin Shattenkirk and who are, Stanley Cup, contenders, are 1-6 out the gate. Yeah, they're down there with like Nashville and other teams that are struggling really bad. And people don't realize like 6 losses or 5 losses, wherever they're at right now. Like, you don't want more than like 20, 25 losses. You really don't want more than that in regulation. And the fact that they can't even push things to overtime, they're losing in regulation, they're losing divisional games. They're in the hardest division in the NHL right now. And they're off to, I think they're probably the worst team in the NHL right now. They're probably 31 out of 31. Not good, guys, not good. So we'll see what happens. I think they play the Penguins next, so that's probably not great. But anyway, so we'll see what happens, guys.